For over a century, the United States and Canada shared more than just a border. They shared a deep friendship built on trust, cooperation, and common values. Families, businesses, and tourists moved freely, making the border the world's longest undefended line. Their partnership was so seamless it was often taken for granted. Defense cooperation through NORAD, integrated economies, and joint responses to global crises defined their alliance. The US was the bigger sibling, Canada the quieter one, but the relationship was balanced and mutually beneficial. Disagreements, like over lumber or dairy, were minor, quickly resolved, and never threatened the core bond. The borders symbolized trust. Serious conflict seemed unthinkable. The assumption was simple. The US and Canada would always have each other's backs, but that assumption was about to face its toughest test. The world was about to change. In 2025, the unthinkable happened. The US-Canada relationship changed overnight. Years of subtle tension became official policy, as Washington put American interests above all else, even with its closest ally. The era of automatic special treatment for Canada ended abruptly. For Canadians, it felt like betrayal. For Americans, it was a strategic shift. America First was no longer just rhetoric, it became law with new trade rules and executive orders. Ottawa, Canadian businesses, and border communities felt the shock immediately. The comfortable, predictable partnership vanished. Exemptions for Canada disappeared. New policies treated every country as a competitor first. The message from Washington was clear. The special friendship was no longer guaranteed. The rules of the relationship had been rewritten. The world was watching. America First became the guiding principle, reshaping every aspect of US-Canada relations. Tariffs hit Canadian steel and aluminum, justified by national security, a move Canadians found insulting. The old logic of shared interests was gone. Every issue became a negotiation. Canada lost its automatic exemptions and found its arguments ignored. The US aimed to reshore supply chains, accepting damage to Canada as collateral. Canada realized its deep dependence. 3/4 of its exports went south, but the US could afford to lose Canadian trade. The imbalance of power, once masked by goodwill, was now exposed. The Canadian economy's vulnerability was laid bare. The mask of friendship had slipped, revealing hard realities. Canada faced a stark new world. Economic tensions in 2025 went far beyond tariffs. Decades-old supply chains were disrupted, investment across the border stalled. Cooperation now came with strings attached. Every deal was transactional. US demands for Canadian concessions grew, linking trade to defense and foreign policy alignment. Disagreements over energy and climate policy deepened the rift. The US prioritized domestic energy, creating hurdles for Canadian exports. Climate goals diverged, making joint green projects nearly impossible. Defense became contentious, with Washington demanding higher Canadian military spending. The quiet partnership turned into open negotiation and public disputes. The alliance was now defined by leverage, not trust. The events of 2025 marked a permanent shift. Trust was replaced by pragmatism. Canada could no longer rely on American goodwill and began forging a more independent path. Ottawa launched aggressive efforts to diversify trade, seeking new partners in Europe, Asia, and South America. The goal: reduce dependence on the US and protect the Canadian economy from sudden shocks. Canada also built new alliances with like-minded countries, strengthening its global voice. This wasn't anti-American. It was pro-Canadian, a strategy for resilience in an unpredictable world. The US-Canada bond endures, but it's now more businesslike, with clear boundaries and interests. For Canada, the wake-up call was painful, but necessary. The country is now more self-reliant, globally engaged, and confident. The quiet neighbor has found its own voice. The future will be different, but Canada is ready.